Okay, this is just going to be a candid video. I'm just going to rattle off some words that I've had from the Lord and the Gematria on them. This is just going to be basically my day yesterday. Getting a ton of 5's from the Lord because that's the number of joy. But just words in general that are very easy to see, okay? So, the other day I ate blueberries, which are good for your memory, okay? Memory is flawless for Jesus, just like the word sharp, the word good, and the word smart. Okay, so a sharp memory, Jesus, Jesus. Good memory. And blueberries, the word blueberries ends in Jesus. Okay, memory, Jesus. Sharp, Jesus. Good, Jesus. Smart, Jesus. There was a drizzle. Okay, God gives words through everything. So it's been hot for a couple days. Then we had a drizzle yesterday, which was awesome because it cooled off the earth. Drizzle is pure 5's. The word drizzle. Okay. It's like a light rainfall. It's you memorize these words and what God is saying through them. Drizzle equals 100. It's a joy. Drizzle equals double joy. Okay, and piece apart the 5's, go nuts. Okay, there's beautiful 3 teams of 5's that I see very glaring. DZ, which is 30. RL, which is 30. Actually, 4 teams. Drizzle is a beautiful word. Sometimes you just have to appreciate the math, the beauty of these. DZ, okay, 30 points. RL, 30 points. IZ, 35 points. And then, like a cherry on top, is the E on the very end, which equals 5, which is the final letter. So is there joy in a drizzle? Yeah, if it didn't drizzle yesterday, it would have been boiling hot. And we found joy in the weather. The word weather divides by 5. But these are the words that God speaks to me. Just like a friend walking down the street. And he tells you what the meaning of the word is and why it's happening. Why is it drizzling? Well, for your happiness. Because it's been hot for the last couple days. And if I don't send the drizzle, if I don't ordain the drizzle, the earth isn't going to cool down, and it's not going to feel better for everyone for the next couple days. Drizzle is a smoking hot set of 5's. Smoking hot. So I'm here to preach all the words that come to me from the Lord, who is my friend. And like, God is your best friend, and he talks to you, and he explains to you what the words mean everywhere you go. So the word pour came to me. This is so huge. The joy of pouring. The joy of an outpouring. We all know that we love a drizzle, but we also love a downpour and an outpouring. The word pour is beautiful, beautiful 5's. It's got the famous P-U-R, the beginning of the word pure. This is so cool. A pure outpouring. The word pure and pour have one thing in common. They both divide by 5. Okay. The joy of an outpouring. The joy of being pure. Okay. And there's people that make a living just pouring glasses for people all day. They're called waiters and waitresses. They're just happy pouring the wine, knowing that it's going to bring joy. Pouring water, typically healthier, but so pour equals 70. Okay, so pour, an outpouring of rain, outpouring of truth. This is a huge one. Piano and organ both divide by 5. Okay. Piano equals organ equals 55. Every syllable in piano divides by 5. P-N-O. Okay, organ, similar thing. Horn divides by 5. Trumpet is loaded with 5. Oh yeah, and then wind instruments equals joy instruments because wind equals joy. Violins. These are just words that are coming to me that divide by 5. Violins, guitars, drums. Drums equals cymbals. The joy of drums, the joy of cymbals. Okay, music divides by 5, but drums equals cymbals. Both divide by 5. And embarrassing 5's in drums and cymbals. And by the way, eardrum, where the sound meets your ear, divides by 5. And joy is at the center of sound. Grand piano is glaring 5's. Okay, and the word keys divides by 5. Keyboards divides by 5. Grand piano. The word grand is just like the word pian. 25 at the front, and the an is obvious. Symphony it divides by 5 and is loaded with big 5's. Choir equals church and ends in joy. Microphone equals father. Father, he owns every microphone. A speaker, sound speaker. Speaker, pure 5's. But these things are supposed to create joy for people. A song divides by 5. A hymn divides by 5. Which is greater, a hymn or a song? A hymn is 5 points higher because a song about God is always greater than a song about something else. So, joy in a song, joy in a hymn. Music divides by 5. Melody is loaded with 5's. Okay. Musical instruments divides by 5. The word notes, okay, like musical notes, okay, just like the word hotel and motel has the joy at the dead center. Okay. And then words like pitches, frequencies, okay, and opera, party, pure fives, party, okay. Just other words that have come to me that divide by 5. Library, bookstore, DJ equals joy, and every letter in joy can be built from DJ. You have to have a good DJ that selects clean music. Otherwise, how is there going to be joy at your wedding, your dance celebration? DJ equals joy, pure fives. What's everyone's favorite style of dance? Freestyle. The word freestyle is smoking hot 5s, overwhelming 5s. The joy of freestyle. This word came to me. World record divides by 5 and has a ton. Every vowel in world record divides by 5. It's a world record. Think of the joy that we feel when someone achieves a world record. Okay, so world record divides by 5. The joy of a world record, undeniable. Okay. God is setting more world records than we can shake a stick at. The Lord ordained me a rice cake. I'm not even joking. God puts things in my path. There was a rice cake left on the bench outside of Walmart. I knew it wasn't going to get eaten, but I also know what God is doing in my life. Rice and cake will divide by 5. Rice and cake are two of the biggest words. Like, rice is the world's #1 food, and cake is like everyone's favorite dessert. Well, I know what God is doing in my life. He's putting 5s in front of my life. He ordained me to run into rice cakes. And he says, I want you to have these. As a confirmation of what I'm doing in your life. I'm revealing to you words that divide by 5, which is the message of joy to the whole world. So white rice is pure 5s. Rice cake. Rice cake is a 5-5 double. Popcorn machine equals joy, joy, joy. This is a fun one. Okay. Corn equals joy, 50. Pop is 3 points less. Parallels joy. So popcorn is like a joy, joy double. And the thing gets completed by the word machine, which is joy plus 3. And you can find machine, joy, and machine by popping off the C. Machine equals wheel, by the way. So popcorn machine equals triple joy perfectly. Done. That's a word from the Lord. God has ordained popcorn machines. And then Orville Redenbacher's divides by 5, which is one of the most famous, beloved brands of popcorn that there is. Orville Redenbacher's. It divides by 5. It's a very long string. It's loaded with 5s. I love long strings because there's so much to see in them. And Orville Redenbacher's, you can read about it, try it for yourself. It's really quite fluffy, and I believe the word fluffy is pure 5s. Yeah, the word, wait for it. I know it ends in Y. That's the main thing. But, it doesn't quite divide by 5, but that's fine. Well, there you go. So, these are the words that God is giving to me. He's giving me words that divide by 5 and contain many 5s and scream out 5s, and words that are quite obviously associated with joy. So I was getting a ton of words in Musicville yesterday, like the word piano, organ, horn, trumpet, wind instruments, violins, guitars, drums, and cymbals is obvious because they both equal the same thing with pure 5s. Symphony, I already went through them all. Okay, so I was getting a ton of words in music land that divide by 5 and contain joy. And then like the word opera, party, okay. Library and bookstore, we've talked about, both end in 5s. Library, bookstore, E. 5, find joy in your library, find joy in your bookstore. DJ, joy. Freestyle, world record. Rice cake, and then what God ordained to put in my path, rice cakes. And I ate them, because if I didn't eat them, no one was going to eat them. And I just know what God's doing in my life. They're sitting on a bench outside of Walmart. The bag is already half gone. The person obviously didn't want the rest of them. But I know what God's speaking to me in my life. We solved every grain of rice and every cake on the planet. And I'd eaten cake recently. $5 it cost, because I know what God's doing in my life. 5's the number of joy. Okay? So, in fact, they were sitting on the ground, fully wrapped, but I knew someone didn't want them, and they just left them there. And I knew what God is doing in my life. Okay? And then popcorn machine is triple joy. And Orville Redenbacher's divides by 5. Okay? So, there you go. So, God's giving me tons of words that divide by 5, that scream out the joy of God on earth. Okay? There you go. That was just a review of the words that I had yesterday, just taking notes on my phone, and pretty awesome stuff. So if I was to... piano and organ are huge, because the piano is like the king of instruments. That's pure 5s. Symphony is beautiful, 5's, that's huge. Microphone, Father. Song and hymn, pure 5's. Can you find joy in a song? Yeah, that's the whole purpose. It should exist. If the song isn't bringing you joy, then why are you listening to it? I really don't need to hear someone screaming, you know, something that's not bringing me joy. Song, 55. Hymn, 60. Music, 65. All right. I really like the popcorn machine one. That's fun. So yeah, I like popcorn. So corn equals joy, and then pop is flawless for joy. +1, the O, the +1. Pop. Just pop anything. There's joy in something popping. But then the puzzle gets completed perfectly when you add the word machine on the end. Pop is joy -3, corn equals joy, machine is joy +3. So popcorn machine is joy, joy, joy. There you go. There you go, kids. There you go. Lots of joy in the world. Lots of words that are yours to solve, and find the 5's in them, which is the number of joy. And then so big companies that we've had that we felt led to talk about recently that are the same thing. Costco, specifically Costco Wholesale, pure 5's, warehouse 5's, okay, and employees and stockers divides by 5. So Costco was a big company. Costco Wholesale was a big company we felt led to preach on for the joy of God. And also Amazon, okay, the company Amazon and the Amazon River Basin, pure 5's for the joy of God and man. So there you go. And of course the company Apple, okay, the company Apple, okay, has been a joy, a tremendous joy to many people. And of course Apple computers have been used to allow people to learn. Learn equals joy. Learning online, you know, Apple computers, Apple laptops, you know, take the internet with you wherever you go on your Apple phone, talk to your friends, share the gospel, invite people to church events, grow in God. Apple equals joy, okay? And it was founded by a guy named Stephen, whose name divides by 5. His middle name was Paul, which equals joy, okay? Stephen Paul Jobs, you know? And did he not die at age 50, which equals Apple? That's kind of creepy. I hope he went to heaven. People who say they heard his last words expect that he was like seeing a vision of heaven. He certainly did not talk about Christ in his lifetime. Okay? You must confess that Jesus Christ is God to go to heaven. You must. If you do not, God will still use your works for his glory anyway. That is the crazy and fearful thing. But he will. Okay? God will use your works for his glory even if you don't confess Jesus Christ as God in your lifetime. But you must do that in order to go to heaven. Heaven is pure 5's. According to the 6 days of creation pattern, HV, 30 EE 5's AN, 15. 6 days of creation. Day 1 was completed on day 4. Day 2 was completed on day 5. Day 3 was completed on day 6. That is to say, you look at what was done on day 1, it's finished on day 4. The light, okay, it makes sense. Glorifies the Trinity in this interleave. Okay, so there you go. And then there are other famous computer brands that divide by 5, like Intel and Asus. That is what's behind this computer here. Those equal Word, okay? It's very obvious stuff, very easy. All right, glory to God.